many people, Richard Nixon and JFK, I mean Richard Nixon was basically just JFK. And the real Richard Nixon didn't look anything like, or Nixon was didn't look anything like the other person. Close, but not quite. Anyway, they spent years trying to recreate my success. Like I said, first car, first tank, first this, first that. Like I said, when I was building the DeLorean, they were building all these piece of crap cars in America and building all these piece of crap cars all over the world, trying to beat me or trying to outsell me or trying to recreate my success that I had with Renault and with other stuff. Like I said, Renault was different because I was creating it for the first time. Like it was the first time it would ever be done. So, no one put much stock or put much faith in it actually working. It wasn't until years later that my gears and everything else was like really popular and people really wanted them. And people were really able to see like the value of a car and everything else like that. Like I said, I had the Renault factory. I had a couple factories. Anyway, Richard Nixon and others or other people like that girl, the Chancellor of Britain or whatever. They did this whole like war thing where they're going to take over. They took over a bunch of stuff, saying that it was for the war effort or whatever. Anyway, though, just made this big mess. Anyway, though, they got a bunch of people to invest in a bunch of car companies. Like I said, I never had a problem. My car companies always did fine, but then we did really good work. I think the IRA was having some problems or something like that, but not really the IRA. I mean, realistically, I mean, like I say, the Irish people I always loved. Like I love Irish. Like I'll stand like anytime there's an Irish person involved. I mean, I'm there. Like I mean, they know how to get things done. They've always been good people, just like the British, just like the Germans. They've done some great projects, and there's plenty of resources and plenty of people over there. Anyway, and I paid them really well, too. But anyway, though, mostly the problems is really people who are pretending to be government or pretending to be this or pretending to be that, and realistically, they're just getting in the way of everyone else. You know, trying to basically do whatever, take repossess people's houses and stuff, or repossess people's factories to basically make it them theirs. Basically, abusing the powers of government, pretty much. I think the Irish people, what is considered the IRA, basically they were a couple good Irishmen, that their fathers, whatever, and they weren't gonna be pushed around, so they called them terrorists. Anyway, though, JFK or Richard Nixon, they called it camel toe a lot because like the White House is mine, Fort Knox is mine. They're white stone for a reason. Basically, I think they even tried to color them with like chalk or something like that to make the Fort Knox not look like it was white. Like put coal dust on it or something like that to make it look like it's black or brown or something like that. To make it look like it's not a white building. Because there's a Fort Knox, which is white, and also the White House, which is also white. I had a lot of white buildings, stone buildings, not wood. Abraham Lincoln said he lived in a White House. Saying that meant he was president because he lived in a White House. Well, a lot of houses were white back then. Just meant you got white paint from me, and probably lived inside one of my white buildings. I painted all my buildings white, and I had a lot of white paint whenever I was painting stuff because I liked white paint. It was unusual, and later on, other colors of paint, but white, black, green. I forget what the next color was, green or something like that. They were usually dark, or green came before white. like white was one of the later, what was one of the later colors maybe. I forget exactly how the colors went, to tell you the truth, because we had the black, and the problem was the primer was gray, or I mean the primer was brown, because the natural color for that is brown or something. We had to get it. Anyway, it's this paint thing. I'm not a paint expert. I just paid them. Anyway, I didn't invent paint. I just used it. So, and invested in it because I knew it would, it's paint. Well, mostly it was for my aircraft, because like I say, I used to do pressed wood aircraft and pressed wood cars, and pressed wood is great. Steam pressed wood, you can bend it into any shape you want. You can make a wooden fender that's rounded compound bends with wood, with steam and pressure. No problem. Then it's just a matter of keeping it from getting twisted. And with a coating process, you can coat it with lead paint, and it'll be just like a normal fender. In fact, you can pick it up and you'll think that it's a metal fender almost, or except it's thicker. And they're very strong, especially if you do compound press bends with steam and pressure. So anyway, basically, I've been rich forever, and JFK and Nixon, they were running around, blowing shit up and shooting people and killing people and creating all these lies, and basically just, they call it camel toe a lot, because they're running around, all this gold and all this money, and they're just another con artist, basically, just more con artists, go to another country and be like, oh, I'm president, I'm Lucifer, I'm the Pope, it's basically just, rampant fraud and rampant whatever, it happened a lot back in the day. And if that didn't work, they'd shove a gun in your face and be like, whatever. There's a lot of people like that. Everyone except for maybe the Irish Republic people, or Irish people, and all republics are bad, really. Although not really, no, because Irish people were different. Like I say, I don't like to say IRA and Irish people, because no, the Irish people banded together and they started to do things because they had fathers and they understood, and they saw what could be done. A lot of groups that I work with, they see a lot of my projects and they're like, oh, it can be done. It's like, yes, 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 yes. It can be done. It's not that hard, really. So they run off and they go do things and they get motivated and get into it. Like I said, my films really helped a lot, and everything else. Anyway, and Nixon and a bunch of other people that were supposed whatevers ran around, just like trying to get whatever they could get, and they came up against the reality, which is basically Lucifer's star, White Star Lines, just like real tanks, real ships, because I had them. I have 80 real galaxies, and I have a real planet, and I have a real country. So I have to really defend that country against whoever might invade or whoever might try and take over my country, because then I won't have an America. I wouldn't have a Germany. I wouldn't have a England. I wouldn't have an Ireland. I would have some dead people. and that would be a bad thing. So anyway, so I led my people and supported them and helped them and invented for them. And then you don't have Lamborghini as the car manufacturer you named, because they go out of business and die. But Lamborghini was like my car company, and because I named it, just like Lotus, is another car company, and we did things for the first time. So anyway, Renault, I guess, worked for me or something like that. So I guess it was actually the Lamborghini whatever factory. So Lamborghini, because it's homage to my wood and everything else. So, and I like the way it sounded. I was a 9-year-old child or whatever, I was just a young person, and just like thrown into all this stuff. Well, a creator of 800 Galaxies, kidnapped, whatever, held hostage, found finally. Anyway, like I said, I have real armies and real militaries.